off the Super 8. Again, get involved, a free shot at $100,000. This is the Kitten's Joy stake, the 7th running of the Kitten's Joy for 3-year-olds, going about 7.5 furlongs on the firm turf course. Interesting entrant in Flame Away, 2-1. This is a horse that the Mark Casse barn was consistently trying to get onto the turf course. They finally did so in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, giving him another shot today.
You know, I'm against horses like this by and large. This horse can very well win. He ran pretty well in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. Yeah, he was 8th, but he showed speed. He was only beaten 3 1/4 lengths. Mendelson was a pretty good winner that day. Catholic Boy was 4th, came back on dirt and crushed in the Remsen in his next start. But I'm somebody who's a firm believer that class isn't nearly as important today as it used to be back in the day. So I think horses like this get overplayed. People see a Breeders' Cup race, they get overly excited. The horse gets overbet. And I don't think there's that much separation between a lot of grade 1 races and sometimes grade 3s or overnight stake races. So I'm against Flame Away a little bit. Power of Attorney, I love this horse on the 3rd of November, and I was right that day at Aqueduct. This horse showed speed and fade on dirt in his debut, and he ran against a monster in Montauk in that race. Horse who put up a huge figure, I think won by 11 1/4 lengths. Kieran McLaughlin got Power of Attorney on turf. He got an easy lead. I thought he was a dominant winner. Yes, he got an easy lead in that race, but I think this horse has continued to improve. This will be the 3rd start of his career. This will be his 2nd start on turf. I think he's going to be a better horse today. He might get the lead turning back from a mile to 7.5 furlongs.
So
Power of Attorney.
All right.
And Fast Boat has a big chance in this race. That was a very impressive maiden score on the 8th of December. So pretty good group of 3-year-olds, I think, here in the Kitten's Joy.
Kitten's Joy kicks it off. We're going to go from coast to coast, starting with race number 1. That will be the 2nd leg of the Super 8. Race 1 at Santa Anita, $25,000 claimers, non-2 lifetime, going 1 mile on the turf course. Midnight Swinger, your 6-5 morning line favorite. Where are you going, Maddie?
Well, I think there's some pace in this race, so I'm going to look for a horse who can come off the pace. I mean, Lovely Linda from the inside is going to show a lot of speed. Agent 99 is going to show some pace. I think Midnight Swinger might show a little bit of pace, too. How about Road Test the 8? Last time on turf, I know finished behind Midnight Swinger. That was a key race. 5th, 6th, and 7th place finishers, next out winners, and pretty impressive next out winners. A couple going up to Golden Gate and winning. So I like the 8 from off the pace back on the turf for Jack Carava to pull the little bit of an upset 5-1 morning line in race 1.
Do you think he'll go off at 5-1, or she will?
I do. I think it's a real competitive race. So I think I'll get at least 9-2, 9-2, 5-1.
Okay, so 2nd leg in the books. Then we move forward to race number 8 at Gulfstream Park. This is a maiden special weight event going the quirky 7 furlongs distance for 3-year-olds. It also kicks off the late pick 4. And look at the shortest price on the morning line. Life's a Parlay at 3-1. Difficult race with a lot of first-time starters.
Yeah, and that's why I'm going to look to experience. And I like Code Blue in this race, the 5 horse at 6-1 the line. This horse ran a really good 4th, beating a half length, showing speed over a racetrack that was favoring closers at Keeneland October 26th. The last race a little puzzling, Brittany, how easily kind of threw in the towel at odds of 7-2. But it was a pretty quick race. The winner, a Mark Casse horse, had a perfect trip. The buyer came back 76. 3rd place finisher, maiden special winner at Gulfstream next time out. The horse appears to be working well on paper for Dale Romans, 48-2, 101-2, 101-2 again, December 31st. So horse with experience and speed that's training well. We might pick. That's the 5, Cove Blue.
All right, Cove Blue looking to turn things around. So the 5, 6-1 on the morning line as we move forward to race number 9 at Gulfstream Park. We'll be at Santa Anita again in just a bit, but this is the Ginger Brew going 7.5 furlongs on the turf course for 3-year-old fillies. And the Way I Am, the French bred, 3-1 morning line favorite.
Yeah, and I'm going to settle on the favorite in this race. But you mentioned lukewarm. So, I mean, I thought the 5 of the edge, and I wasn't going to jump off the 5 to jump on horses at better prices, and the better prices are Malibu Saint at 4-1 and Dina Del Sur. And Dina Del Sur, by the way, was really good in that debut for a guy in Albertron who does not win first out. So that was very impressive for her to win that way and pay $49. But the Way I Am, terrible post in the Jimmy Durante, 11-hole in a 12-horse field. Obviously, that was a grade 3. 3rd off the left. She also really showed speed in that race. The winner, Daddy's a Legend, was 9th. The top 3 in that race, finishers, were 9th, 10th, and 4th at the half-mile pole. So the race kind of fell apart, and she was part of that pace. So I'll go with the Grand Motion horse. Lukewarm favorite. Jose Ortiz, another situation which I think the morning line is very strong. 3-1 morning line. I think she's going to be around 3-1 probably come post time.
Tough competitive race in the Ginger Brew. So going with the 5, The Way I Am. Moving forward to race number 10 at Gulfstream Park, the Mucho Macho Man. We'll see these 3-year-old colts on display in the 7th running of the Mucho Macho Man. Scratch out the 1 and Dak Attack, a horse that has gotten a lot of buzz for Dale Romans.
Yeah, that being said, and I think Mask will be favored in this race. I mean, this horse was really, really good. You watch that backtrack from the 3rd week of October. This horse was geared down. Javier never touched him at all. I mean, just a teaching lesson the last 1/8 of a mile. I think he'll be favored. He's the horse to beat. I'm going to be trying to be a little creative. Maybe some would say a little greedy here. I'm going to go with the 5, Santiamen for Antonio Sano, Errado Ortiz. I just love the progression. Pretty nice win. The figure didn't come back that huge at Gulfstream Park West in the debut. But a lot of times when you win by 6 3/4 lengths and you're not trying the last, 3/16 of a mile, that affects the figure. I think that was the case there.
Right.
Then the horse was pushed a little bit more. The figure increased with that win at the optional 75. This horse wants 2 turns. This horse is by dialed in out of a Montbrook mare, kind of old school training. Eventually will get 2 turns, 1 turn mile today, but at least gets more distance. 2 sprints stretching out to the 1 turn mile. I think for the 5, this horse needs to improve, but he's going the right direction. I think he will. To me, Mask is the horse to beat. If you want to be a little more conservative, you go with the 6, but I'll take a shot. Try to get a little separation here in the Super 8 and go with the 5.
5's your lucky number so far.
I know.
You're using it quite a bit today.
I did notice a lot of 5s and 6s. For me, here in the Super 8.
Lucky numbers. Why not? So we move back west to Santa Anita and move all the way forward to race number 5. That's the SHAM Stakes, a potential free square. Is this what you were mentioning earlier, where this is where people are potentially going to think it's a free square?
Sure.
And Mackenzie, will you try and beat Mackenzie?
No, I'm gonna go with the public. I am. I'm just gonna try to fit in here. 3 to 5, Mackenzie. This horse gets the perfect trip, too, I think, in this race. There's so much. I mean, the 3 and the 4, All Out Blitz and Marino are lightning fast. Mackenzie, who rated a little bit in the Los Al Futurity, should be able to rate even more because of the speed and because of the equipment change, taking the blinkers off. And from what I hear, and I'm not somebody who really has my ear to the ground in terms of the way horses are training in the morning, from what I hear, this horse is doing unbelievably well. So if I'm hearing about a horse that's doing incredibly well in the morning,
they must be doing
that means they must be doing pretty well, because, again, I pretty much go, when people are telling me horses are working well, because I really don't care for the most part. But so I think Mackenzie's going to win this race.
Well, I spoke with Jimmy Barnes, assistant trainer to Bob Baffert yesterday. Love the way he's training. And Mike Smith thought he was a little bit rank and eager in the Los Al Futurity, which is why those blinkers come off, hopefully getting him to relax a little bit. And then their other horse, Marino, adding the blinkers because he wasn't involved enough in his most recent race.
I don't know if he can get away from All Out Blitz. The only concern with me from Mackenzie is a relatively quick turnaround from a viciously tough race in the Los Al Futurity less than a month ago. And
I think Bob basically saying, because that's not typical for him to, I think, run that quickly back from Los Al Futurity with a lightly raced horse. But he didn't want to keep him on the shelf because he's doing so well. They always say if they're doing well, don't keep him in the barn, run him in a race. So Mackenzie in the SHAM. Race number 6 at Santa Anita. That's a state-bred maiden 50 going 5.5 furlongs on the main track. Kicks off the late pick 4 and our 7-2 morning line favorite. So you're seeing these big fields at Santa Anita, 11 horses set to go postward, and a lukewarm morning line favorite for Bob Hess.
Impeckiness for Bob Hess, blinkers off. I think the key to the race is the 11, Karmic Affinity. The way this filly is training for Pender, that is a serious 3/8 gate drill coming in 34-1. So I'm gambling that she's going to be really fast early. If she's really fast early, that's trouble for the favorite in this race. So I'm looking for somebody who can sit off a little bit. How about the 6? What you see is what you get for Gary Sherlock, who I've always thought is a very underrated conditioner.
Couldn't agree with you more.
She drops in for a tag for the first time. She's coming out of a race in which she got no pace. The winner went gate to wire. The runner-up was second at every call, and the runner-up then won a state-bred maiden 50 at Del Mar in her subsequent start. And she hasn't broken well in 2 lifetime starts. So I went back and looked at both those races, legitimate problems. She hasn't raced in a while. But with a clean break, with her running style and the class drop, I think she's going to run very well today. So I like the 6 horse. I'll make a sizable win bet on her later on today at 6-1.
I like it. I like the full disclosure there. And our final leg of the Super 8. Hopefully you make it all the way there and you are alive to 8 for 8. That is race number 7 at Santa Anita. We'll round it out. The Grade 2 San Gabriel Stakes, and it's in the post, the French bred for Jeff Mullins and Tyler Bays. Coming out of the Breeders' Cup turf, 3-1 morning line favorite.
Definitely go for the Super 8 today. You mentioned you win $100,000. It's free, TVG.com. Some of these races are hard. I mean, this is another race with a 3-1 favorite. It seems like half of our races that we've talked about, 3-1, lukewarm.
3-1, 7-2, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this race is really hard. I mean, it's in the post. He gave a good account of himself in the Breeders' Cup turf. Only beaten 5 1/4 by Talismanic. Won the John Henry a couple of starts back at Santa Anita. Loves this turf course. 4 of his 6 lifetime wins. Free Rose is really quick, but I think Smoky Image could be a problem for Free Rose.
I think so too.
A horse with legitimate sprinter speed, stretching out. I'm going to take a shot with a horse that this race is so evenly matched. It's going to come down to trip. Big field on turf at 9 furlongs. And why can't Tequila Joe just get the perfect trip? Sort of speed at 1.5 miles, turns back to 9 furlongs. He's going to be able to finish. He's not going to be too far removed. He's going to be off those speed horses to the outside. I think Talamo gets the garden spot, sits 3rd or 4th. Manitoulin, who won on the Hollywood Turf Cup, that is a nice Jimmy Toner horse who's shipped in from the East Coast to win that race. So I like the style of Tequila Joe, the turn back, the horse that just beat him, and the potential trip that he could get in a wide open race, and he's 8-1. So I'll go with Tequila Joe for Mike McCarthy to win race number 7.
Who's having himself a great meet. I mean, he won the first race yesterday at Santa Anita, obviously took down the Grade 1 Malibu with a limited amount of starters. He's having a phenomenal meet thus far. I'm
happy for him, too, because he's been a tremendous horseman for a long time. He was an assistant to Todd Pletcher, went out on his own. It's been a little difficult getting horses, getting stock, but...
it's tough to make that transition.
Yeah, but he's doing extremely well, as you mentioned.
So we take a look at your selections for the Super 8. Play for free at tvg.com/Super 8. What do you think is the leg that will really separate everyone?
Oh, my goodness. I mean, the race we just talked about, the San Gabriel, the last race, that race is viciously tough. The 8th race at Gulfstream, all those first-time starters in that race makes it very difficult. I would say most of those races are hard, but the 5th at Gulfstream and maybe the 7th at Santa Anita, maybe the 2 most difficult in a sequence that's pretty tough, top to bottom. Maybe Sands race number 5 at Santa Anita with McKenzie, who's probably going to win that race and pay $260. If
McKenzie does not win, it's going to throw the whole thing out of whack.
Yeah, I think most of you out there that are playing this, you kind of have to single McKenzie in that race and turn into a very difficult pick 7.
It is, with the shortest price for a lot of these races, 3-1, 7-2. Get involved. It's a free shot at $100,000. So again, go to tvg.com/Super 8 and you can find all of Matt's selections.